Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hi Aditya, how are you? Hopefully you can all hear me. I'm doing things in my new setup. You can see a picture of me behind the scenes in the ideas channel in EddieHub. But let me know in the chat, hopefully this is all clear. Let me know where you're calling in from as well. Today we're gonna code, and you're gonna code too and get some green squares. I'm super excited. I haven't coded in quite a while. So I'm really excited to get back into some coding. You're gonna see me struggle. So I am gonna need your help. So hey Emma, how you doing? Emma, definitely gonna need your help. We're gonna be doing some link-free stuff with React. I know you're the expert in this, so I'm super keen to get your help too, Emma, as well. I'm gonna work on the homepage, just see how far we can get. Yeah, so I probably should have arranged for you to come on the live stream with me, and you could actually, help me just rather than just in the chat. So you're all always welcome to. But great to have you all here. So let me bring up my screen. I want to kind of get started straight away. So we do have an issue. Let me bring this issue up and let me share it in the chat. Do share your thoughts in the issue as well. Let's bring that in the chat and see. So here we go. So the homepage. Problem with the LinkFree homepage. Let me bring up LinkFree project as well. Now the images have gone. When we had the images here, it was hitting the GitHub rate limit. So we've removed the images, but also I think it's a bit slow. I don't know if having such a big list of people is really valuable on the homepage. I think we can maybe make that a bit more valuable, maybe have some nice stats and so forth. I've got some ideas. So I'm really, really keen to see what you all think. Search is important. I think we should maybe keep search, maybe move it to its own page. I'm gonna see what you all think. And I'm going to try and make some improvements to this. But let me know what you think in the chat. Also, let me know what you've been up to as well. I hope you've been okay and been collaborating with people in our Discord as well between videos and live streams. So yeah, I'm thinking if we remove these, but maybe we move this to its own page. Like I said, I think a search page is important. Maybe on the search page we do list everybody, and then as you type things, for example, like Eddie, it does, or Ed, as I've written here, it does kind of filter down the people further. So maybe that is a good idea to move this to its own page. And then I was thinking something along the lines of I did grab a link. I want to show you the deployed version. I could have showed you the version on my local laptop, which I have got up and running really easy as well. So the link I was going to show you I was thinking something like this. Where is it? So we use Prime React for the UI components. What do you all use? I'm quite curious to see what you all use and how you rate it. But I was thinking maybe something like this 4 could be quite good. Don't know what we would display, like total number of users we would have. Total numbers, so maybe total number of users, total number of community, total number of totals, like the two combined. Don't know what the fourth would be. We could keep that as a dash for now, or even just have 3. We can see. Let's have a look at the chat. Aditya, thank you so much for asking. I am feeling a lot better now. Thank you so much. Still not 100%, but slowly getting there. Hey, Praduma, how are you? Great to have you here. Shubangi, awesome to have you here as well. I love it how everyone is talking to each other in chat. Do chat to each other in the chat. You're right. We are collaborative. Pagination was talked about. Infinite scroll was talked about. I still think then the people on page 1, either it's alphabetical or because they created their profiles first, just get to be on page 1, which I don't kind of like. So I thought another thing we could display on the homepage, maybe under these kind of stat box or whatever you want to call them, maybe we could display 10 random users and just pick out 10 random users or something like that. I don't know. I'm keen to see what you think. I have shared a link to the issue in the chat. Do share your thoughts and put it into the issue. The great thing about chatting here real time on the YouTube chat is you get to geek out with us all, but also you want to reach people who maybe aren't here, who maybe see the issue later on. So you got to think that if you write some ideas in the YouTube chat, brilliant. I appreciate it. It really supports me with YouTube, and also what content or what I'm going to talk about on the live stream, and gives me ideas. But also don't forget to share it in the issue, because people who aren't here, like I said, you reach a wider community. You want to build that whole personal brand that I always talk about. So the project is quite straightforward. I I say quite straightforward. It's quite straightforward when you know how. So we do have Cypress automated testing, so we would have to update those if I change things. We do have Kubernetes deployment, and then the public folder we have data, which is where everyone puts in their JSON file. So if I just pick mine, actually I could use the VS Code shortcut Command P and just type in Eddie Jowd, and they give me some suggestions. This is my file. I did think of adding. We have got a Mongo database on our as part of our Eddie Hub cluster on DigitalOcean. So I did think of maybe having the option now people to log in with GitHub and set their data not via a JSON file but via like a form, and then we could maybe collect some stats on what links are clicked and so forth. So that's an idea for the future as well. But we're just sorting out our Kubernetes cluster for the API project. We've got some what's the word? I've got to put up some certification. Latest Mongo needs you to have a certificate to be able to connect to it. So if it's a cluster of Mongo databases, so I need to try and sort that out. Sorting out at the moment and struggling as well. So what have I missed in the chat? Okay, awesome. Hey, Shivendu, awesome to have you here as well. Yeah, so this is mine. So if you haven't added a profile to our LinkFree project, definitely do it. It's a great way to get some green squares, and you get that link that you can use. So for example, if I go to mine, Eddie, so you get that. Well, that's localhost, but you get a link, and then a bit like LinkFree. You get the links here for you, and then a bit like Polywork, you get the milestones as well. I probably need to update those milestones too. As well. So, I just noticed the skeletons are slightly different. So if you click on someone's name, if you go back, that the skeletons are bigger because we had the photos in there. So that's probably an issue. So who needs a green square? Let me see in the chat. Does anyone want any green squares? Yeah, if anyone want any GitHub open source green squares, there's one for you. We need to, what do you call it? The skeleton? I think that's correct. So when you go to the home page and you get the skeleton, so if I go back again, you'll see it very quickly on my screen. They're quite big. So the grays are quite big, is when we had the profile pictures on here. So that's an issue that needs to be raised. Just raise it by clicking on issue and then clicking on new. And that's a bug, I think. Raise it as a bug. And take a screenshot if you can too. It will really help. And if you want to fix it, I think it's a fairly straightforward fix too. So who else needs green squares? We will get you some open source green squares as well. So going back to what I was saying, I think we do is, so that's my data. I'm just showing you that as an example. So let me close this folder because it's getting quite big. So hopefully you can all see my screen as well. Okay, Utopian says they need a green square. That issue is yours. And if anyone else wants to make changes or raise a pull request, there's a couple more green squares as well. So let's have a look. So going back to the stats. So I think that, so the home page is split out into components as well. Let me minimize all these and we can remind ourselves. I'm quite new to this project as well. I say new, I haven't looked at it in a few months and it's moved forwards quite a lot. So if we go to, I'm thinking about converting this to Next.js as well. It's another idea I have. So go to the home and then we go to home.js. You can see here, this is where the data is collected from list.json in the use effect. And then it's sorted. And then it's displayed here. So you can see the placeholder gets list. And then when we don't need skeletons anymore, it displays the user list. So we can probably remove that, but I'm going to leave that for the moment. Or should we remove it? But we want to move it to another page. So that's something else that someone can do. So if someone wants another green square, raise an issue to say, maybe move the user list and search to another page, and because on the home page we're going to do something different. So let me just delete that for the moment. If I hit save, and if we go through to here, we've broken it. Not used. I know they're not used. Okay, let's delete those because they're not going to be used. It's going to complain about some other things as well. No. List is assigned but never used, and the same with skeleton. Okay, well, we're not going to use those. We do want to query the data because we do want to kind of calculate how big, how many users we've got, so we can display that on the home page as well. So let's see, what was it complaining about? It did give us the list and skeleton is not used. Yeah, those aren't used. So use state. Are we going to need to use state? We can always add it back if we need it. This is how rusty I am with React. And if you don't use something for quite a while, you do get a bit rusty. So okay, set list and set skeleton is not used. Where is that? do that anywhere. Set list. Okay. Oh, we do want to set list. Now, wait a second. We'll have to delete too much. We do want to use set list. It's complaining that we're not using the list yet. Okay, we're going to use it. I don't think we need the skeleton because we aren't going to kind of create it. So let me just put something out on the I don't know, just put it in the H1 or something, and we could say something like list.length, for example. So we can hopefully see that. Skeleton is not used. That definitely isn't used. That's on line 30. So it's saying on finally do a set timeout with skeletons. I don't think we need that anymore. So you probably don't need the finally anymore. What happens? Yeah, we probably don't need that anymore actually. So we can remove that. Save that. Okay, so the page is loaded. Oh, the page breaks. Set skeleton is not defined. Is that right? Let's see. Oh, here we go. We just needed a refresh. So we've got 391 people. So we want to display that obviously a lot nicer. Like I said, we want to use, where is it gone? We want to use kind of these sorts of, I don't know, stat boxes. I don't know what you would call them. But I think that'd be pretty cool. And then maybe pick 10 people underneath. So thinking about it, we probably do want the users list, but we only want to pass it 10 random users. I should have done that first. I bet you've all said that in the chat and I forgot to have a look. Let's have a look. Okay. Love it that you're all saying hi to each other. That's awesome. Okay. Hey, Simon, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Great to have you here. Simon, when are you going to join me on a live stream and help me with my open source projects? Oh, Simon, I have an idea, by the way, really random idea for FeedHive. I saw there's an open source version of Twitter, which is decentralized using Web3 technologies and so forth. And it looks quite popular. I'm actually thinking of joining it. I'd love FeedHive to support it. I can't think of the name. I will have to find out and get back to you. But let me know what you think. It's got a really good API, apparently. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Why are all the CSS not inside a styles folder? Good question. Let me remind myself and see. I think in React, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, any React experts, because I'm not, they usually put it in their component folders with the components. This is the home, and this CSS complements the home.js, is my understanding. Let me know what you all think. And while you're all there, give this video a thumbs up. Really helps support the channel. It costs you nothing, but you probably get some green squares out of it in a moment as well. So actually, I'm going to put back what I said. I'm going to undo all that. So that's, really stupid of me. But you can always use Git, right? You've got Git here on the left-hand side. And if I save the file on the right, it's going to show me that these are the changes I have. And we could just say revert back to what it was. Yeah, discard all our changes. And then we're back to what we were. So what I probably want to do, I probably still want the skeleton thinking about it, but now we want to limit this list of users. We want it. The bug that I mentioned is still there. So whoever's raising the bug for the skeleton stuff, it's still there. Please still raise that. But for the list, we probably don't want to pass the 391. Again, let me put that here at the front so we can see it. So list.length. So if I hit save, there you go. You can see it right at the top. Okay, in the wrong place, but we'll keep that number there for the moment. We want to pick 10 random ones. And then drop it and filter out that list for those 10 random ones and reduce that. So we still actually want that. I think that's a good idea. I think you're not the first person to request it. We'll look into it. The other reason why I'm looking into using that platform is I only put out about 40% of my content on Twitter. And a week ago, I got shadow banned. And so I've reduced my content going out to Twitter to try and remove the shadow ban. And so I was growing by 250 a day consistently on Twitter for months, and all of a sudden got zero, like nothing. And I used some of those online tools, and they said, yeah, you've been shadow banned. And I was trying to do some research to find out why. And they were saying maybe you're putting out content too regularly on the same time. So I was doing every 3 hours a tweet, but I was quite specific, every 3 hours consistently. And I probably thought I was a bot, so they shadow banned me. So I actually want to put out more content. So what I'm thinking of doing is keep using obviously Twitter and so forth. But I'd love to then only put like maybe my more polished work to Twitter, and then use again, I can't think what it's called. It's going to bug me. The open source version of Twitter to still go out every 3 hours, more behind the scenes stuff and so forth. But then you can't really get shadow banned. And maybe we even have an Eddie Hub server one day of that as well. But yeah, Simon, let me know how it goes. But that's something I'm really, really looking into doing. Oh, yes, the one. Yes. Mastodon. Yes. I don't know how you pronounce it. That is the one. Thank you so much for the name. I will forget. I should open it up in the browser because I have something I need to look into tomorrow. Tips for starting in open source. You mentioned Java. Doesn't matter if you're Java, JavaScript, PHP, Python, Ruby, whatever it is. Get involved in the conversation and start contributing. We're working on, let me share the link in the chat to the LinkFree project. Actually, I think it's in the description below. The LinkFree project. Come and contribute to this project. Some good instructions, hopefully in the README, but I'm sure there's improvements to be made. So make some suggestions and improvements. It's because we use Prime React, uses utility classes like Tailwind. Got you. Yes. So, but that's a reason why we would hopefully not need CSS files, but occasionally we do, I suppose. That's what I really like. I love utility classes. So actually, I'm trying to find. I found in their docs now where it is. It's in their Flex docs, which I thought was a bit confusing to find out what those utility classes are. Yeah. But you can still do it in a styles folder. What does React normally do? Does it put it in a styles folder or put it along with the component? I know Angular puts it along with the component as well. Yeah, we try not to have too many CSS files, but in React, oh, here you go. You've answered my question already. React CSS files belong in the same place as the component. Okay, perfect. That's what I thought. So great to know. Thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate that. Preet, I answered your question. If I do miss it, do put it in the chat again, but give us a few minutes to get to it. Please don't spam the chat. For sure, though, a lot of us are struggling with engagement these days. It's not a unique thing. No, but my engagement went to zero, like literally followers and engagement to zero, just immediately. Like I should show you my graph on FeedHive. It's like doing really well, growing over the months, and then literally one day, nothing, just flatlined, absolutely nothing. And using the tools, like I said, I did get shadow banned. It says I'm not appearing in search. I'm not blocked. People can still find me, but I don't appear in search. I don't appear in so forth. So I think today is the first day I've noticed a little bit of something, but I was on a Twitter space, so it could have been that. So yeah, the biggest recommendation is to cool down using Twitter, so you appear less like a bot. So and engage with more people. So I'll try to do that. Let's see. Okay, right. Let's get started. So I forgot what I was doing now. Yes, I wanted the list, but I wanted to reduce it. So just as a crude way of reducing the list, I probably need some help. If anyone wants to send some pull requests, we can get them merged on the live stream now, so you get some green squares. So let us know. So just as a crude way of doing it, if I say, what can we do? We can do slice, or we get the slice and splice the wrong way around. Anyone can remind me in the chat, I would appreciate it. So we can do various things to reduce that, so it isn't the 391 that get listed. We want 10 at random. Is 10 a good number? Does the amount of them change? 4, 3, 2. So maybe if you did, it seemed like even number-ish. If we did 10, the 3 wouldn't match, right? Because that 10, you'd have like 3 rows of 3 and then 1 extra at the bottom. But then it would work for this one. So yeah, have to see. Maybe we remove the 3. I don't know. It doesn't have to be perfect just yet, right? We want to move things forward in open source, and then someone else can improve it further and further. So we could, take the first 10, and then that would kind of solve the big page issue. So let me see. We could always do. Could we do a use state, and I could just say, so you got the list, and then we've got maybe, I don't know, selected or random. The reason for that is random. It's going to be an array. Yeah, it'll be an array, because then we could actually display here at the front random dot length. We won't want that. Actually, what we'll want is this, and then we can just see something like that. We can see which ones have been selected. Oh, did that wrong? Not square bracket. What have I done wrong? Oh, need the closing backtick. There we go. Okay. So random is, oh yeah, we didn't assign anything. So we'll probably want the random to be, we could put it in here, right? We could select the random out there. I think that might be quite a good idea. So we'll do that like so. If you have any better ways to do it, let me know in the chat. And then for now, we'll just say set random. It will be data, but we'll pick 10 out or a random number out. Oh, Copilot has automatically completed it for me. So it's going to do a math floor. It's going to math random times by the length. I think that should work, right? Let's see. Undefined. That's not very good. That did not work. Oh, wait a second. It's just going to give me a number, right? And then that's going to pick one out of it. Let's actually just see what that gives us. And we can just select the first one out of the list for now. Just do a console log. Oh, console log, right? Oh, I can't even spell console. Beta 0. That should work. Where's the console log? So look. So 223, refresh 136. So we are picking out random numbers and they shouldn't go higher than 391. So I think that looks pretty good. So we've got the undefined. Oh, loads of great answers here. Let me see. Let's see. Choose a random number between 0 and the length, minus 10, and take a slice of that index. Choose a number between 0 and the length, that makes sense, minus 10, take a slice from that index. Okay, let me see if I can do this. Should be able to do this. It's Monday, should be fully awake, fully alert. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So we've got that number. That number's working, right? So this is the random number. It looks fine. So we could maybe just const. Minus 10. If it was end up being 5, the random number, then it could be the minus 5. I've done this before on a different project. I can't think how I did it. And if you did plus 10, it wouldn't work. But you move forward 10. Aha, yes, that makes more sense. Yeah, no, Emma, as always, you're right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Hey, Sean, how you doing? Awesome to have you here. Okay, so we've got a random number, and as Emma suggested, we do minus 10. Okay, maybe we should set a number up here somewhere. Let's have a look. We could just say const. What can we say? Like list length, display. We'll just make it 10 for now. So that way we can say minus display. We've got a random number, and then we need to do, was it splice or slice? I always forget which one. Slice. Okay. Slice. Random number plus a display. Aha, perfect. So Copilot completed that for us. I think that looks pretty good. Let's just see. Can I hover it? No, I can't get the type of it. I'm going to check the chat and see if anyone's corrected me. Thank you so much for being here. Felician, hopefully I pronounced your name right. Thank you so much. The community is awesome. I'm learning all the time from all of you. I love it. I just noticed I'm looking like away from my code. That must look weird because my screen's on that side. Let me just see if I can just quickly flip that around. I did see an option to flip that around. Settings, camera, mirror. Does that work? Can I break it? There we go. I think it looks a bit better now. Now I'm kind of looks like I'm looking at the code. Perfect. Let me see, what have we got? So is that going to work? What do you think out of 10? What do you think it's going to work, everyone? Is that going to look pretty good? Let's see. So we set the random number. Oh, wait a second. So that should give us 10. I think that should give us 10. Let's console log that and just check. Should give us 10. Log. Save. We're always going to end up with 10 people being selected, but is it an array? It is. Perfect. So we've got Lakshay. They're always going to be, just thinking about it. That does work. So Emma, thank you so much. But it's always going to be in alphabetical order. I think we should make 10 random suggestions. Or could that be an improvement that comes later on? What do you think? Oh, why forget about the 1 to 10? trying to think, you don't want it just in alphabetical order, because now if we display it, so if I do, what do we call it? I forgot now. Random. We call it random, right? Yeah, we did random. So if we make this random, and we should make this random as well, so we know the number of it. So we get the 10, but they're always in alphabetical order. Like it's always that set of people, which we probably don't want that group. It might look a bit weird. So I wonder if we do 10 random numbers. Maybe we do a loop 10 times, and each time pick a random number. And what does everyone think? Could shuffle the entire array. Yeah, so we could do the random before the sort. That could work. So down here, if we take the 10 together as we're doing, but do it before, excuse me, I like that suggestion. That seems easier for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste that. I'm going to put this back to what it was, which was set data. Again, we might not need that soon. We might better remove that. And I want to put, before we sort the data, I'm going to get rid of the set data. We don't need that. And this should now work. We can get rid of that. There we go. So let's have a look. An error occurred. Oh, I busted it. What did I do? Cannot be property of undefined of sort. Did I bust it? Oh, we don't do a return. Is that what it is? Okay. Change this from thens to asyncs, I think. Return data. We haven't changed data. I'm pretty sure we haven't changed data. Look. Oh, still alphabetical. Interesting. Yeah, they are still alphabetical. How does that work? Hasn't been sorted yet. Did remove the. What did I do wrong this time? So that's the sort. So it is sorting the data, but we're no longer using data. Well, we are using data up there, but we're no longer using data down here. We are using random. So that's interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Let me see what people said in the chat. Shuffle the array. Yes, that's why I was trying to shuffle the array is a really good idea before picking the 10, which is why I moved it higher up before we actually did the sort. So that way it is in random order, I guess. Or probably it might not be actually, because the files might be loaded in order, or we might be, when we create the list, we might be sorting it already. Let me have a look. There is a file somewhere. Does it generate JS? Does it sort it? Doesn't look like it sorts it, but it might read it in alphabetical order from the file system. So that's why that probably won't work. Okay, so in theory, my idea worked. In practice, it didn't. So they are kind of almost in alphabetical order already. So that is something that we need to, maybe shuffle or pick one at random each time. So let's have a look. So what we could do a loop, I suppose. I might put it back down to where it was before, having an extra step. Oops, too far. Here we go. Let's put it back down to here. We set the data, and we could pick a random one each time, like every time a random number. We could get the same number twice. It's unlikely. What do you think? Is that a big deal if we got the same number twice? We could check. It would you just end up with one less. Oh, or would you appear twice in the list? Maybe appear twice in the list. Hey, Forever Night, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. I can picture your Twitter profile picture, and I can't picture your name. My bad. Great to have you here. I hope everyone is still awake and seeing me struggle with this. Is interesting concept. I thought, random would be easy, but it's actually, you could get the same one twice. So you could check if it exists. If it exists, then do it again. It's pretty hard just for random numbers. Yeah, pretty hard. I thought this would be the easy part. I was looking forward to getting to displaying this on the page. I want to dump this on the page already because I'm quite excited about this part. So again, this is using primary act, and literally I'm going to probably copy and paste it. I don't think we need all of this, but we could, because what would we, so here would be the number, and here we could say this is going to be the total users, and then we could have the total communities, because we have got communities in there as well. The total, the first one could be total, then it could be total users, total communities, and then last one, I don't know what it could be. And then that would be the number. We'll change the icons, and then we haven't got dates on stuff, I don't think. I wonder if you get the last time the file was updated from the file system. You probably could. But again, that's probably like more hassle than it's worth. We could just maybe remove that underneath. Don't know how that should sit all right without that, I think. What do you all think in the chat? Hey Fahim, awesome to have you here. I think people got bored of me struggling with random numbers. Copilot and all of you saved me a lot. But yeah, I still got the issue that if I just save this and run it again, just to show you, that we do get 10 every time, but they are in alphabetical order. So we're getting a 10 block alphabetically. And I think we should probably, not get the 10 together. So we could shuffle it, I suppose, or loop over it and get a random number each time. Wow, writing code in YouTube chat. That's impressive. Agathon, thank you so much. So yeah, you've got, trying to read that in the YouTube chat. So math, you've got math random, I plus 1, and then you floor that, and then you've got temp array. So you've got temp equals array I, then array I equals array j, and array j equals temp. Okay. I just think, is there not an easier way to do it? There must be an easier way to do it. I mean, your code probably works. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I was thinking there might be an easier way to do it. I mean, let's see. So we could do a for loop, which is what you've done. Yeah, you did a for loop on the length of the array, and you're going from the length of the array down to 0, and you're going negative. I was thought of doing, I don't know, if we did the display 10, must be a better way. But if not, you could, I know, yeah, for like, 1 to 10, or like data length. No, we don't want to do data length. We want to do to 10. We'll just pick one. Let's just pick one for now. You know what? I want to pick one. Keep it simple. Next pull request that comes in from all of you can improve that. So let's just pick one. So I'm going to do that. So here we go. Random number. We're going to get one number. We're not going to console log that. And the set random is going to be, that's just going to be right. It should actually give us 1, right? Or not. Display is, okay. Will that work? Will that give us 2? I don't know. That's going to give us 10, obviously. So I won't use display. Let's just make this simpler. One user gets selected each time. Or apparently no user gets selected each time. Why is that? Let's see. Console. If any of you can spot it already, let me know in the chat. Oops. 33, 58. So random numbers working, but there's no user found. Oh, even easier, we can just do this. What am I talking about? Perfect. Oh, or maybe not. What did it say? Set random. So I've got data, and I've got a random number, and I can pick out that point out of the array. That should work. What have you all said in the chat? Have I gone? Oh no! So Emma's given an answer. Okay, it needs prettier. Random number formula is slightly wrong. It should be math random data length minus display. So the length minus the display times the math random. Well, okay, that makes sense. Hey Carl, awesome to have you here. Yeah, I was following your way, and then I thought I'd go down a different way. I want to simplify it and just pick one now at random. I still can't get even that right. Like, not a good Monday for me, not a good start to the week. I love coding live streams when I have a guest who can share the pain with me. So if anyone wants to join me, they're welcome to join me now or in the future as well. I thought this would be the easy part, and I'm clearly struggling, having not coded in a long time. And I struggled with Kubernetes today as well, and Mongo. So that definitely, I think, burnt me out today as well. Don't do too many challenging things in one day. I think is the takeaway to learn from this. So 87. So my number's correct. I'm happy with that, right? We've got a random number. So we set the data. We pick a random number of the length of the total we can have, and we console log it again. We're happy with that number. And then a random should be an array. That's why. Okay. So that's fine. So random should be an array, and when we're picking one number out, but it's end up being an object. So therefore, we can just put it into an array like that. Can we do that? I don't know if we can do that. Okay. Always get one person. Yes, I got something working. I mean, you always celebrate your wins, right? Okay, so always get one person. No matter how many times we refresh it, we get one person. Perfect. In theory, we could put the image back again now as well. Oh, awesome. Good to know that you can use the sort with math random and it will shuffle the whole array. Interesting. Which feature do you want to do in the stream? Well, the feature I want to do, I haven't really started. What I'm doing is let me share the issue in the chat as well. So I wanted to revamp the homepage. I wanted to kind of just start it, not necessarily complete it or finish it, but I wanted to revamp the homepage for the LinkFree project. And I thought of picking like 10 random users, but limiting it to 1 at the moment. But people can send some improvements to that as a pull request. And I thought of having maybe some stats on the homepage as well. So it doesn't look very good at the moment. I've just dumped this at the top just for me. Got total 391, and 1's being selected. I wonder if we can differentiate between communities as well. So if we go back to the data, what was one of the communities we had? We had Eddie. This is mine, and then we also had a community one as well. Oh yes, we got type community, so we can filter out the numbers to know how many are in community and how many are in personal as well. So we can filter that out to display those stats as well. And Carl, I was saying maybe now we've got MongoDB kind of working. Okay, it's not really working yet. It's working by itself. When we get MongoDB working with our Kubernetes cluster, then we could attach Mongo to this. And I mean, this might have to convert this from React to Next, which is still React, but React framework's got a little bit of a lightweight backend in it, for those of you who don't know. And then we could get some stats on how many times the links are clicked and so forth, and store that in Mongo. And people don't have to have JSON files if they don't want to. Yeah, that is true. That is very true. Good point, Emma. But the reason why I've done that is I think we are going to have an array. So I'm keen to kind of leave that there, and someone can pick, 10 people out from the array. So I'm going to leave it as an array. So there is some, what's the word? To my madness. There's some sense to my madness. Let's say. For React, question for React devs: is it good practice to have very long hooks like use effect inside the actual component, or better to have the function in a separate file? Oh, great question. I don't know the answer. My use effects have always been quite small, but you're right, this one's getting a bit long. So I'll be interested to know as well. Yeah, I'm interested to know too. But yes, so I still want to keep using this user component. So that's why I want it as a list, because then we are going to have more than one eventually. I can't seem to make it work, but we will. Okay, right. Let me put this below maybe. Let's see the numbers below now, and then we could put some. Would you put the? I've just noticed the toolbar is part of the page, as it were. It seems to be under users. Let's have a look. Yeah, the nav bar, I think, is part of there. So I think really we probably should move the nav bar out. So therefore, between the nav bar and the user list, the reason why we did that was because of the search. It made it a lot harder if we had them as separate things. Okay, so but we're going to remove the search in this page, so it's less of an issue. A bit more work than I thought, because if you've got, I've got one user now at the moment, but say we had 10 users, search probably isn't needed for this page. But we're going to keep search for the search page. But for the home page, that search probably isn't needed. So therefore, we might not even want to use that component. We might want to use What have we got here? And we might want to move this to a component, so therefore we can reuse this part on the homepage. Okay, definitely more work than I thought. Wow, I'm going for 40 minutes already. Wow. Okay, I haven't really achieved very much. Typical day. Let me just see if anyone has sent in any issues or pull requests that we need to look at as well. I need to get better at these as well. 11 hours ago, that's fine. Nothing for now. And 8 hours ago, okay, again, nothing for now. Okay, good. Well, not good, bad. Why don't you all want green squares? So no one has answered Carl's question. Let me also know what thoughts you have on the idea of the layout that I'm thinking. Actually, you know what? Let me just copy this in, or I can click copy there, so we can just see how it looks on the page. Again, it is. I'm going to put it underneath there. Oh, that's quite big up. But so yeah, I think maybe underneath doesn't make sense. I think it needs to be between the nav bar at the top and the profile types. I think it just needs to be in between there. What do you all think? Obviously, we need to connect up these numbers and all the rest, and that number doesn't need to exist. So we can remove that. But you get the idea. Would that look good? And then maybe some instructions on how to add your profile too. What do you all think in the chat? Let us know. Which feature PR do you need? Well, I need a lot of help, clearly. You know, this is me. You can see I'm struggling here. I'm drowning. Where is everybody? No, you're all helping. I'm joking. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so I think just we need to maybe split out the list of users to be used on the homepage component with the search, but also to be used separately. So therefore, on this page, we can remove the search, and I can have this bar in between the two, because I still think we need the version number. Okay, on my local host, it's showing as 000. And we can have maybe these sets of boxes in between the two, and then maybe 10 random users underneath, and then maybe some instructions on what to do. So yeah, what do you all think about that sort of design? I wonder if I can like mock something up and see. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Would that make a good homepage rather than just a list of users? Because what are you going to do? Click on a random user? You're probably not. You're going to search for a specific user, or you want to know what the project does. So it'd be nice to have some stats. Let me see what people think in the chat. It's a good practice to have util function, but whenever that happens in real life is another question. UseFX tends to get on. Oh, really? Yeah, in Angular we use service files, and they're just amazing, like really, really good, like service files. I really like those. Tom did a nice mock earlier. Oh, interesting. For this page, really? I must have missed it. I messed up my notifications on GitHub. I need to catch up with notifications. I need to fix everything I messed up on my notifications. But yeah, I think I definitely need to have some more thought about this. This is not as easy as I thought it was in my mind. There was a bit of moving around of code to do, and definitely some. Yeah, I don't want to make the code more complicated. So I think I need to split some things out, and maybe move these individually into components so they can get reused, so you don't have all this over and over again. So maybe one of these will be, reused in its own component. I think that's about one there. So yeah, it's interesting, let's say. Mark all unsubscribed. You heard. How did you hear, Carl? It's supposed to be secret that I messed up my notifications on GitHub. So now when I go through my notifications, I don't just look at the notifications. I have to remember to subscribe back to them. Yeah, real pain. Oh, nice. Yes, please share a link, Emma. Let me just make sure you can share a link in YouTube. 1 second. Let me give you the spanner. Where's Emma? Emma, and then add as a moderator. There you go. Emma, you're now a mod. You can share links in the chat. Yes, please do. Oh, amazing. I can't want to pronounce your name wrong. I'm so sorry. Druv, awesome to have you here. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Yeah, awesome to have you here. You can see me struggle doing some random number stuff, thinking what to do for this page. Yeah, I'm keen to see what Tom did for the mock-up. That would be great. Excuse me. Yeah. And then, yeah, I'm thinking, I don't know what you think, Carl, now I've got you here as well. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know you're doing a lot of the API work. I know this isn't related to the API, But what do you think on having some stats? So if you go to someone's profile, and then people click on these links, maybe we can log the stats. So if they're logged in via GitHub Auth, or we could just do it. So we just record the stats. Potentially, we could send an API request. I don't know. Just think of some ideas of how many times you put a little number after it, how many times these were clicked. I think that might make it quite a cool project. But homepage first. As you'll see, as I click on the person's user for everyone watching, and when you go back a page, it loads somebody else at random, which I think is pretty cool. Yeah, someone different every time. Oh, thank you, Emma. I can't copy and paste it. 1062 under issues. Okay, let's have a look. (1062). Is this the one? Okay. Preview the profile. Nice. And then you got the mobile version as well. Draft in PowerPoint. I love it. Whatever works. I think that's great. Okay. Yeah, and so I think we still have something like this, but maybe with the boxes at the top and maybe like a few selected random users as well. I think that could be quite cool. But yes, having a description of what it is, like a homepage. So what is it could be quite important. So therefore, we could do that underneath, and we do have for people who don't know, on the EdiHub branding repo, we do have different ones that people could use. So we could, I don't know, maybe something like that might be a funny one to use as well. I think, is there a whole list of them or no? No, there isn't. But yeah, that one might be quite a funny one to use. That does look good. Yeah, definitely make it like a homepage, I think. Yeah, I think I need to think about it a bit more and see, rather than try and take on everything, what can I do to kind of add value in small steps, right? I don't want to hold up this this issue or this PR, have it open for like a month, and then it's just like bam, and everyone's PRs have conflicts and all the rest. I think it's important to do little and often. So what I think I could do first is, okay, we've got a wall of users. We could reduce that to 10, and the page will look a bit blank and boring, but that's fine. And then we could maybe add these boxes along the top, or maybe we should make it look more like a homepage first, I think, and then maybe add the boxes. I love stats, that's why I want to put the boxes in there. But I think making it look like a homepage first could add more value straight away, and we can get these PRs merged in little and often. So definitely need to have a think about this. What does everyone else think? Who is still here? Who is still awake? Let us know. And who's done certificates in Mongo before? Because I'm stuck on that as well. I did see some replies in Discord. So I need to see if I need to keep that certificate private or not. So yes, we're working on it. Once we solve that, all the EdiHub apps will now can have access to a Mongo database, API, and lots of other awesome stuff. So we're slowly getting there. People are still here. Aditya, awesome, you're still here. Carl is still here. I know Emma's still there as well, always supporting me. Really appreciate it. So yeah, great to have you all still here. I think I need to have dinner and probably think about this. Yeah, what can we do in little steps? I should probably write an issue, and we should probably link the two. So I need to link this. So thank you, Emma, so much for that link to this. And I should probably, where's the original issue? And people have commented 7 hours ago. I can't miss this. Okay, perfect. Let's see. Example design in suggest show a description of what LinkFree is. I think that's important. Yeah, absolutely. Add a profile. It's going to be thumbnails of the videos. Yes, we could do a video, like animated GIF. It could be quite interesting as well, or even actual video. How to share with a friend. Yeah, lots of great ideas. Possible order workflow. I don't know if that's the right word, but it could be. So I would suggest, so number one would be the toolbar at the top without search. Without search. Then maybe the stats. And I could put a link to the stats. How do I can't deep link to this bit down here, can I? Okay. And then, oops, did not mean to do that. So stats, and then what else was I thinking? I forgot. And then stat, and then random users, 10 maybe. And then maybe homepage, like homepage stuff. What is LinkFree? And then including animated GIF or whatever. Video, animated. Starts off as a video anyway. Some thoughts around that. Let me see. Tried the issue of adding dark mode to the site, but only the components changed. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that dark mode, people would like that, I think. Did we not have that added? Did someone not add that? Let me check. There was a toggle, I thought, at one point. Yeah, I think adding dark mode is quite a challenge. So, really good for having a go at it. But I think it's quite a big piece of work, I would have thought. Let's just know what colors to switch to and from and so forth. Oh, yes, the theme. I remember seeing that. Prime React does have themes built in, so you might actually be able to just switch between themes. Oh, maybe just switching, you don't have to actually create the theme. Maybe just switching between the theme could work. If I go to Prime React getting started, there was a theme section. So I don't think, where is it? Carl got me into Prime React. So if you love it, great. If you hate it, blame Carl. Theming. So I think they have different themes. I think I just picked the default theme. So you could pick, I wonder if they have a dark theme. Yes, they got Lara dark blue. So you could maybe switch to that, which might not be a true dark mode or something, but it might be darker. So yeah, I think you could switch that, and that is probably more straightforward to do than trying to do it yourself. So that could be an interesting one. Maybe raise an issue on that, and someone can do a proof of concept or investigate and mention the theming in Prime React itself. I think we're all learning all the time. So great that you're learning too. And thank you so much for trying. Don't give up though. Keep going. Keep going. I wonder if there's a design tool like Figma where we can create a shared design. Yeah, I don't really use Figma. Is Figma the open source one? There's one that's open source and one that isn't. I can't remember which one's which. Yeah, and you can also create your own theme. Yeah, I was just trying to make it a bit easier. And maybe we could then create our own theme, like as another pull request afterwards, I think, if we want to make a true like Eddie Hub dark mode version. But for the moment, maybe we can pick an existing one that's darker or something like that. But yeah, it's really well thought out. They've got a designer as well, so you can pick the colors and so forth. It looks pretty cool. Never really looked at this section, but yeah, it does look pretty good. Carl, are you still using Prime React, or did you get me onto it and then you moved on to something else? Emma, what do you use? What does everybody else use? Do you use Bootstrap, Material Design? What's the other one? Begins with a CH, not Kiara. Chikara? I can't think what it's called. Something UI. CH something UI. I forget the name. Nobody watches your stuff seriously anymore. People can come and go as they please. We're all friends here. Don't worry. Oh, that's the one. Chakra. I knew it was CH something. Awesome. Yeah, I haven't used it. Is it? How similar is it to Prime React? Is it more like Tailwind, where it's more like what's the word? Like utilities rather than components? Yes, thank you. I was. Everyone knows the name apart from me. Okay, it's been a long day. It's been a long day. Using Svelte, but Svelte is more like React or using Svelte Kit, right? It's more like Next.js. But what about what do you use for you use Tailwind? I think more like, isn't that right, Carl? Oh, interesting. Okay, you like more Bootstrap. Yeah, I just like having components pre-built because then I can kind of just focus on the project more, and later on you can always replace it, I suppose, with something else once you've kind of got all the logic there, I suppose, in my thinking. Yeah, people really rave about it, so it's something I want to look into and see. Yeah, you did that for Gitpod, right? You built your own component library, which is pretty cool. Maybe we need an Eddy Hub. I think someone suggested this. Maybe Carl did. Maybe we need to use Tailwind to build an Eddy Hub component library, so all our projects like have the same sort of feel. And then when you put themes into it, you can have dark mode and light mode, and it would work across different projects. Maybe that's interesting. Too many ideas, not enough time. Yeah. Too many ideas, not enough time. What do you all think about that? Maybe that's an idea. Eddy Hub components that others could use it if they wanted to, but they probably wouldn't, but they would use it for ours. The only downside is if you want to, your versioning has to get a bit more smarter, let's say, because if you've got a component library and it's used in 3 or 4 projects, then you're gonna have to version it, and then you're gonna have to lock the version down because you want to break any projects, make sure they stay up to date. I think it's just a bit more logistics, which I think for a company is really important and really useful, but maybe for an open source organization or community might be a bit more overhead and a bit more confusion to people. I don't know. Interested to know what people think. My chat is all the way over here. That's why I keep looking over there. I like to have control of accessibility components. Makes sense. It's never guaranteed with component libraries, and I end up spending too much time overriding. Yeah, that's very true. You're right. You don't get like I mean, I know. I think what's the name? Where is it gone? Chakra. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing it right. Talks about accessibility, but you're right. You are at the mercy of those components and how they've done it. I agree. But for rapid development prototyping, I think they're really useful to use, these types of things. But yeah, you're right. You have more control doing it yourself. Problem is only when having React and Svelte, for example, we need to use web components to make them reusable across frameworks, and that's painful from my experience. Yeah, true. Has anyone tried also, is it Storyblocks? There's 2 that I get confused. Storyblock is the headless CMS. I don't mean that one. Storyblocks, not that one. That's the royalty-free images. What's the one where you can have like you have a component library and you can play with it in the UI? I think it's Story something. My memory has properly lost me today. I think it's time to call to end the stream and me to get some dinner. Storybook. Is it Storybook? Yes. Thank you so much. I think I got it before I looked at the chat. I think, or maybe I saw it in the corner of my eye. Yes. Storybook's really interesting. I do like that. There you go. Storybook. I really do like this. I think this is really, really interesting. But I think this is for when you build your own components. If we had a Eddy Hub component project, we would have this. Is that my understanding? That's correct, I think. I think that's what I understand correctly. Don't trust anything I say at the moment. Coffee is all worn off. But yeah, this looks quite interesting as well. I do like the idea of this. But then, like I said, then is it more confusion for the community? I want to have a low barrier of entry. That's why using pre-built components, I think, just makes it easier for people. Again, my thoughts, open to suggestions. I think it's a really important discussion. Maybe something to discuss on the Eddy Hub community call, which should have happened, I think, last week. So I actually should organize that for next week or something, for very soon. So thank you so much for the reminder. Yeah. Okay, I think on that note, I think it's time I get my dinner. Thank you all so much for watching me fail on this live stream. I will plan it better next time. I just didn't think things would take as long, and I didn't think my brain would turn to jelly. But thank you all so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you for sticking around. Amazing to have you all here. Always great to geek out with you. And don't forget to join us. If you're not in our Discord, there's a link in the description below where you can join us in our Discord so we can chat between videos and live streams, all that great stuff. We had a discussion when we built our components if we wanted to use Storybook, but we decided against it. Interesting, because it's really heavyweight feature. We wanted it to be very lightweight. So heavyweight in terms of, because my understanding is a separate project, so you get to play with this. separately to your project, or you say heavyweight in terms of the workflow of the developers on the project, or heavyweight in terms of your project that you're building, if that makes sense. Interesting to know. I think it's a really good conversation. I'd love to hear that. Maybe we can continue this in Discord. Maybe at ideas. Well, yeah. The idea could be: do we make our own Eddy Hub components with Tailwind, say, for example? Number one, and number two, if we did, would we use Storybook? Interesting. Oh, add overhead to your project. Okay, interesting. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not kind of plug and play and as straightforward as their homepage says. Interesting. I should have a proper play with it sometime. I think I watched some videos on it and they make it look really easy. And it's just like, yeah, you write this component and all this magic happens. But I don't want to get distracted from building some of our projects, moving LinkFree forward, moving the API forward. The stand-up project, that's not running on my computer, but that is ready to be deployed again. But I need to get the Mongo database working for the API first. So yeah, lots of stuff to do. I'm keen to move these forwards, and I couldn't do this without any of you. So you've all been amazing. Thank you so much. Everyone, have a great Monday. Have a great week, and I'll chat to you in Discord. I think it's time for me to go get my dinner. Thank you all so much for joining me. Bye.